Number 4, confess your selfishness as sin. Remember, I say it's a universal problem. Pastor, do you find yourself acting selfish? Sometimes, don't ask such a foolish question. It's a universal problem. 1 John 1:9 said, if we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sin and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Let me run on quickly. Ask God to take away that sin of selfishness. Repair the danger. If you sleep on me now, when you call me, I am going to tell my wife to tell you I sleep. Repair the danger by seeking forgiveness. Repeat the medicine as often as needed. As often as you need to do that, repeat it. When you find yourself saying or doing selfish things, stop and repair the damage. Before long, you'll find the keys of unselfishness and maturity is opening several marriage doors. Are you with me? When you got that taken care of, you will find that you can now take that key of maturity and open several doors in your marriage because you have dealt with the cause. Let me give you a part of point number 2. I believe that one of the keys for a happy, lasting marriage is communication. Hello? But it seems like you ain't in gear with me today. Communication. Notice what I have found. I have found that when a young man and a young woman, when they are dating, let me just say it differently, because these days more than young men does date more than young women. When a man or a woman, when they are dating, I find they don't have much problem communicating. Hello? Brother Danny, when they are in love, you can't get to sleep. They talk about everything, every time. No problem at all. And watch. She could tell him the worst thing. Her high heel shoe could be sunk down in his foot. And when she realizes, she says, sorry, honey. He said, that's nothing. Nothing is the problem then. Am I not right? Tell the truth. Come on, God died for the truth. Come on, tell the truth, tell the truth. Am I not right? Nothing is the problem. They talk about everything. And watch. And when they don't have nothing to talk about them, they find things to talk about somebody else. They don't have a problem. Let me say we don't have a problem communicating when we are in love, boy, before we get married. Talk about everything. But somewhere along the line, they seems to lose it after marriage. Hello? They came into marriage talking about everything. But now that they are married, somewhere along the line, they seem to have lost that link of communication. May I tell you, if you lost it, you better find it. Why? Because communication is key to marriage. It is as blood to your body. If you drain all the blood from your body, the next thing you are going to die. Hello? So if you allow your line of communication to stay broken, the next thing, your marriage is going to die. See, Pastor Webster tell you that. You would be amazed to know the number of marriages that ended up in divorce because of the lack of communication or communicating wrongfully. May I tell you something? Boy, I wish I had time to preach. Some people love to communicate by shouting. You stupid fool, you. You don't seem to understand. They love shouting and calling names, and they believe that they are communicating. I believe that as long as two people keep the lines of communication open and talk about matters in a proper way, differences can be solved. Many people today settle for second-rate marriage relationship. Why? Primarily because they had never learned to communicate and communicate properly. So they settle for second-class marriage because they just can't communicate. Some of it sometimes gets so bad that one has to tell the child to tell the next person. It is said that the most important single ingredient in a marriage is the ability to communicate. You'll find that the most marital problems stem from the inability of two people to talk to each other in a proper communicative way. The mature man and woman recognize that there is a unity in love. In the marriage relationship, there must be freedom from both individuals. May I tell you? Each must maintain his or her personality and identity. It would be foolish of me for me to be trying to make my wife like me. And it would be double foolish of her if she tries to make me like her. I was trying to tell her some day ago, girl, I love you so much. When my time comes to die, it's better that me and you die together. She said, let me tell you something. She said, I didn't come here with you. And I don't intend to go nowhere with you. So we got that clear. She said, especially these last days, you like talking about death. If you want to go, you go ahead. I'll come. Each must maintain his or her personality and identity. Hello? She must be able to maintain her personality and she must be able to maintain her identity. He must be able to maintain his personality and he must be able to maintain his identity. Don't try to make him or her like you. A sound marriage would mean togetherness, but it also means respect for the rights and privileges for the other party. You got to respect the rights and the privileges of the other person. A wife should be able to honestly express her feelings to her husband and the husband likewise. Hello? Let me give you this, and time running out so I can stop soon and come back next week. A true story is told of a loving pastor who had to counsel two of his members, husband and wife. I'm not the pastor. Did you hear what I said? Okay, people love to say, me ain't tell you nothing. Me ain't telling them pastors nothing because they preach. Well, I am not the pastor. It's a story. The pastor said the wife who did not know he had talked with her husband came to him for counseling. The problem seems to be that the woman was not completely committed to the Lord. Watch this. But the lack of commitment to Christ was not the real problem. One day she picked up the pastor, brought him to their home, and asked if he would speak to both of them. Her husband was surprised. Everything going right. What you bring pastor home for? The pastor quickly responded that he would go. Now the pastor had to be referee between two of them. Pastor White, when you're counseling people, be careful how they come in. Because all depends on how they come in. You may have to put one to sit up there. Don't try to bring the two together before you do your work. So the pastor had to be referee between both of them. And both of them are his friends. For about 20 minutes, she calmly mentioned the things that were bothering her. Those added together created a spirit of resentment in her. Some of her complaints went so far back as 6 months after they were married. When she finished, he very calmly said to his wife, "But honey, why in the world you didn't tell me these things years ago?" They had been married for 10 years. Her answer was, "I was afraid. I thought that if I would tell you, you would explode." So she refused to communicate by telling him. Knowing that a story has two sides, any smart pastor would want the next side. The pastor asked the husband if he would like to explain his side to her as calmly as he could, and so he did for almost the same amount of time. He explained her weaknesses, and when he was finished, guess what she said? She said, "Why didn't you tell me all of this before? Why?" He said, "Because I thought that you would get mad and go into a long period of silence. So I didn't say nothing to you." You notice how people communicate? So because he will take the roof off, she kept her mouth shut. And because he would get the silent treatment, he kept his mouth shut. They took that and learned to communicate, and the wife became a committed woman of Christ. May I say to you this morning, the self-inflicted wounds many times are caused by the use of miscommunication. And miscommunication will take a toll on you physically and on you spiritually. Though you may be silent, it doesn't mean that you are not angry. Maybe that's why you're silent. Anger can keep one quiet for a very long time. The other thing about keeping silent is that the other person who wants an argument would get upset. Hello? The next person wants you to talk. Why? Because they want a back and forth. So you in your wisdom now, you're going to keep quiet. But in keeping quiet, guess what's going to happen? You can make the person who wants to talk upset. So you're in trouble already, Tony. We must learn how to properly communicate. And in a marriage relationship, two persons must learn to communicate their differences. What the Word of God says about communication. We are believers and we should let the Word of God be our guide. Listen to the sayings of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 20 to 23. My son, attend to my words. Watch this. Incline thine ear unto my sayings. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen. Incline your ear unto my sayings. Let my sayings not depart from your eye. Look at it. Read the word. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. The word of God, the sayings of God. He says, for they are life unto those that find them. What? He said, and health to all their flesh. Keep my heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Folks, it is one thing to have a car and don't know what it takes to make that car run right. If you don't know what it takes to make that car run right, it doesn't matter how much you paid for the car. Not because you paid $75,000, $100,000 for the car means that the car is going to walk right because you paid all this money for it. No, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to find out, does it carry gas? Does it carry diesel? Is it 30 oil? Is it 40 oil? What type of filters? Gas filters? Everything about that car you got to learn. For if you do not maintain that car properly, it's you who need the car. The car don't need you. It doesn't need you. If you go down the road and you treat it like garbage and it stops on the road, it's you going to walk, not the car. In marriage, God has ordained marriage to work where we can be happy. But if we do not follow the manual, if we invent our own way into something that we did not design, it's not going to work the way that it is designed to work. So I say to you, if you're here and you're not married, and the person that you are seeing is an immature person, wait. Hello? What did I say? Wait. If the person gets his own way with his mother, if she can butter up her father and get her own way, mother nor father helping the child out of immaturity. And just like she seeks her own way with her father and gets it and feel good, whenever she gets married, she's going to seek her own way with her husband. And if she doesn't get it, she's not going to feel good. Parents, a lot of what children going through today, we are to blame for it. A lot, I didn't say all. A lot of what they're going through today, we are to blame for it. Sometimes we say to them, you can't find a man. It takes you so long to find somebody, or you can't find a husband. In other words, you want them to go because you had enough of the trouble. Tell the truth, man. Tell the truth. You had enough of the trouble, especially when they're in their teens. You're glad for them to go. But notice what you are sending. You are sending your trouble to somebody else. And then all of a sudden we expect for them to grow up and be everything in life. That doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. As parents, we have a job to do. The job that we have to do is to train children in the proper way. And by the way, if you find, parent, an immature fella, and usually parents got discernment. If you find that he coming by your door, in which he done rap at 40 doors before, coming by your door saying he coming for your daughter, watch. Show him the door to swing both ways. And you know, sometimes our children, but you know, Daddy, I love him. Mommy, I love him. You love him, but you don't love that. And that comes with the package. And watch. I promise that one of these days, when I get through with all of these subjects, I'm going to come in here and teach married, unmarried, everybody, premarital counseling. Hit it one time, done with everybody. One time. Cover everybody one time, done. Because sometimes, hey folks, as a counselor, sometimes God reveals in red, don't do it. And they still do it. Take your time. I tell folks, St. Martin is not the world. If you can't find no girl in St. Martin, it got more girls out of St. Martin. So we figure we got to find somebody home. Woo. Take your time. Some people believe, and I got to close, some people believe that there is a particular woman with my rib. I am short of no ribs. Believe. It looked at you, Pastor Nathan, look like I short of a rib? No, sir. You short of a rib? No, sir. I am short of no ribs. I got all of my ribs. Some people believe that you got to find this exact woman to be your wife. Nonsense. Nonsense. Watch. Know what you want in life. And when you find that in a woman, that's the one. If my wife were to die, she gone outside, so she won't hear this. I ain't gonna tell you, you tell her. And needless telling you will tell her. So let me go down here. Sister Sharon, if I were to get married again, there's only one thing I look for in a wife. Oh, thank you very much. That's all I want. Nothing I say would make sense unless she loves the Lord. Nothing. How are you going to use the Bible and the person don't love God? Oh, he got to be tall and handsome. Man, just put him in high heel shoes, he can get tall.
All right.
Young people, when you're looking for somebody, find somebody who loves God more than you, that when you go in a stress, he will tell you, no. And when you find somebody who loves God more than you, you cool for the rest of your life. Work on your love for God, because sometimes we want somebody who loves God more than me, but my love must be for God more than her too. These days, what people get married for is foolishness. I got to stop. And I will stop. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. If this is you, put up your hand. If then you put your hand down. Are you the happiest you can be in your marriage?